Okay, I think we'll make a start because obviously you're all giving up your evenings and don't want to keep you here too much longer than you need to. So just to introduce, I'm Aidan Ainsely. I've just started at Kent FA as the Facilities and Investment Lead. So I've been in post about 4.5 weeks now. Really enjoying the role so far, and hopefully can really support all of you and everyone else in grassroots football across Kent in improving all of their facilities to make the football experience better for all. In terms of what we're going to go through today, I'll get through the housekeeping first. So if you can just keep your mics on mute. I think everyone has done now anyway. Just while we're going through, it'd just be obviously to make sure there's no background noise. But more than happy for you to jump in and ask questions verbally as well as we go through. Same with cameras as well. Sometimes it's easier for the presentation if cameras aren't on. But yeah, as mentioned, more than happy if you want to turn them on whilst we're going through. And also just to remind you that we are recording tonight. So a couple of things, if obviously anything happens and you lose connection halfway through, then don't worry, you'll be able to catch up on it afterwards. And also, yeah, I guess just to be aware that we're recording. So like they say on Channel 4, please do not swear and all that. So, and then finally, if you've got any kind of questions, feel free to use the chat or ask them verbally as well if you want to. No question's a silly one. So some of us will know more about parts of this process and others will know a lot less. And it's best to ask questions that need to be asked to make sure you're sure about what you need to do to get the best for your club. So yeah, just make sure you do ask questions if you need to. So in terms of the agenda for today, so we're going to be having a bit of a deep dive into PitchPower. So we've got Daniel Bradley from the Grounds Management Association with us today, who's going to be going through PitchPower, how to access it, and making sure that you're set up and ready for your inspection. There's going to be a live demo of the inspection too. So if you've not used the system or seen it before, then this will be a really great insight for you. Then there'll also be a bit of insight into the pitch grading framework as well. So that will help you to understand how the GMA arrive at the ratings they do for your pitches, and hopefully how we can help to improve the grade of your pitches. We'll then go into a bit about the Football Foundation funding, specifically the Grass Pitch Maintenance Fund, how you can draw down some of that to improve your pitches. Then a bit about the Hive groundskeeping community. I think there'll be a few of you that are already on it, but there'll be some that are not. So it'd be good to get as many of you as possible using that to help support yourselves and others in terms of improving the pitches. Then there's opportunity for a bit of general question and answer, anything that you've kind of stored up throughout the presentation that you kind of want to ask towards the end. And then a little bit around support pitch advisors, so how we can get some people out to be able to help you with those initial PitchPower assessments, and then finish up just with a little bit of what's up ahead in terms of the rest of the grass pitch improvement series. So yeah, really looking forward to tonight and hope you get a lot of benefit out of it. As mentioned before, if you've got any questions, please do ask them. So yeah, without further ado, I'd like to introduce Daniel from the Grounds Management Association. He's the regional pitch advisor, and yeah, will be taking us through the large portion of this evening. So I'll hand over to you, Daniel. Whoops.
That's great. Thanks, Aidan. Let me just get my presentation up in a position to share. Here we go. Hopefully everybody can see this now if we start from the beginning. Yeah, welcome along. Thanks for giving up your evening. Start of the season, so we've had that hot summer and now we're kind of back into football, and this will give you some insight into kind of what we're looking to do and how to begin your pitch inspection process. We're likely to have a few different people on different stages of the process through the inspection process. Some of you might have heard of PitchPower. Some of you might have already used it. Others, this is going to be a completely new concept to it. So what we're going to try and do, there's a lot to get through, so we'll try and fly through it and pick up any question, allow some time at the end to pick up any questions that you may have. So I guess a little bit of an introduction and background might put you in a position to better understand my role. I joined the Grounds Management Association, what was the Institute of Groundsmanship, 3 years ago, over 3 years ago now, as part of the Grounds and Natural Turf Improvement Programme. Fast forward, the programme's been really successful. There were initially 8 of us. Now we've grown to a team of 14 covering multiple sports. And yeah, there's a team of 6 covering the country in terms of football. So you can imagine when I first begun, I would go out to site and visit each pitch, inspect each pitch, and there wasn't enough of us to get around with the demand. So here we are, we've got PitchPower now, which is a self-assessment tool. It's a free and easy to use app essentially, which can be found on your smartphone. And yeah, top bullet point, it has been a game changer because, like I said, there's not been that many, trying to have 6 people to get to every pitch in the country, there's not enough time to do that. So the power's in your hands essentially to open up PitchPower and submit your inspection, and then you get a report back from us. So since it's launched in October 2020, we've produced around 3,500 reports, and that's more than 8,500 pitches. And yeah, for every pitch assessment that you submit, you'll receive a detailed report produced by myself, as in I'm the regional pitch advisor covering Kent. Yeah, better pitches mean more opportunities to play and get active, and it's a testament to yourselves that are on the call tonight to learn more about it and begin your journey, or kind of move forward with your journey in improving the pitches that you've got at your site. So that's a bit of background and introduction to what the app is and why it was formed initially. So for those of you that have previously used PitchPower, what's new? Why was this reboot? How did it come about? So by 2025, 40% of the Football Foundation's investment will go to projects that host one or more sports. So basically, they took PitchPower offline. They revamped it based on our feedback and the feedback that users had already fed back into us. We passed that information on and we said, look, it would be great to have this feature included next time. And, from our point of view as well, basically to allow you to get the most out of the reports that we produce. So it was taken offline, and now the second bullet point there, it's back again available for football, but also both codes of rugby, and it's going to launch for cricket in the new year. And yeah, as I said, the user journey has been improved and enhanced to allow us to produce an even more refined and detailed report based on the information that you submit to us within the app. So this is just a little promotional video from the Football Foundation that I thought I'd just play through now. There's no sound on it, but it will just give you a rough guide as to kind of how to find the app. I mean, it's just a visual interpretation of how you go about accessing it. So as with most apps, you know, you need to create an account. So you just click the button there, and it will take you through how you would normally log into something. From there, you join us and find your organization and add your ground, and then you can begin your pitch inspection journey. And they speed it up there a little bit, but yeah, we'll deep dive into the actual app and give you a bit of a live demo in the next few minutes. Move on from this one.
Daniel, just a quick question on that. So,
Yep.
If people are looking for PitchPower on their app on Android or on iOS,
Yep.
and they can't find it, where's best for them to be able to find the app to download it?
Yeah, exactly. So you won't find the app on the app stores. It's a web-based model, so you basically open it up in the browser. So you use whichever browser you normally use for browsing the internet, and type in pitchpower.org.uk, and it will direct you to the web page, and from there you can download the app. So yeah, please don't think you're going crazy not being able to find it in the iOS App Store or the Android App Store, because it's not available on there. You can download the app from the website itself, or you can just continue to use it on your browser. It's worth noting as well that you don't necessarily need to use a smartphone to access it. You can use it on a desktop, PC or laptop. And actually, when we go into the demo, I'll explain the reasons why it's probably better if you got the ability to set yourself up with your login and mapping your pitches initially on your laptop. So yeah, we'll have a look at that in the next few minutes. Those that have used PitchPower previously, you might be prompted to change your password, because passwords are designed to be changed every so often, as annoying as that is. But for security and safety reasons, it might, when you go to log in, say change password, and then you'll receive an email prompting you to change password and re-log in. But it's like, you know, logging into any other website. Initially, you'll need to type in your email address, select a password, put some information about yourself in, and then you'll be in. We'll also look at how to find your organization. That's on the next slide. But it's worth noting that if you have got more than multiple people can be associated to your organization. For example, if you have got a contractor or a volunteer groundsperson that would carry out your pitch inspection, they can have an account and an individual login through their email address. Say, for example, you've got a treasurer who would add the financial details in terms of how much budget is spent, and examples of how much you've spent on operations. You can have that person have an account too. So don't, by all means, use it yourselves, but don't see it as a burden. Get more people involved in it in the club and see it as a benefit for recording information and as a tool for the club rather than just yourself. Because if it is difficult to use, ask somebody within the club and hopefully they will be able to support you with it, with information that you might not be able to access yourself. So once you're in, you'll be prompted to find your organization. I'm from the GMA, the Grounds Management Association. So as an example here, I found them and added them to my account. And then from there, you can find your site and set up your pitches. It's worth noting that overlaid pitches. So say you've got a 9v9 and you've got two junior fives running widthways across. You don't need to map the fives as well. Just indicate on the page that you have got overlaid pitches within this pitch. And similarly, training pitches don't need to be added to it. It's only pitches that are used for affiliated football that are to be mapped within the app. But again, we'll have a look at that shortly when we go over to the live demo. So if you are familiar with the app previously, you'll know that we ask information around your maintenance practices, what machinery that you own or is used on the site. So it's important to kind of take the time to sit down and not just rush out to your pitch with your tape measure and your spade, but really try and explore it beforehand and get a grasp of what's involved. There's a great frequently asked questions page on there, and there's also a demo, lots of demo videos that are on there, linking to YouTube for you to have a quick watch if you're not comfortable with it. And as before, Aidan will touch on later, there is support available through Kent County FA to have somebody come out and visit the site and run you through the information and the inspection as a education and a teaching process for yourselves to kind of get you up to speed and get you comfortable with using it. So the information that it'll ask you for initially, and you can do this after you've inspected your pitches, but I would recommend setting this up before, is a list of the equipment owned by yourself as the club or that's used on your pitches. And we try to do this to build a picture of what have you got as a resource in terms of the club. Where are the gaps? Do you just have machinery for cutting and marking the pitches? Would it be beneficial? Are you looking to kind of expand that and build on your equipment bank within the club? Your annual budget for maintenance. So that's to give us an idea of what you're spending your money on in relation to what the quality of the pitches are. Is there anything missing? And as well as that, we're not going to go out and then recommend do this if money is really tight. Bear in mind, funding might be available for you, which I would encourage everybody, if it is available to you, to kind of tap into, because it does make a big difference. This program and the funding that is available has transformed pitches, and I would not like you guys to miss out on that, because it's a no-brainer essentially to have the support and the funding that's available to kind of increase the carrying capacity of your pitches and ensure that they're playable through the winter. It's designed for you to carry out those enhanced maintenance operations that perhaps were out of reach before due to budgets. So it'll also ask for the standard maintenance activities that you currently carry out and info on training courses that you've completed, as well as information on pitch usage and cancellations, and especially where waterlogging is concerned. So yeah, go for it and put as much information as possible, and this will really help me to build a picture of what's happening at your club and what kind of things that we can do to move forward and improve the pitches. And as well, over time, you'll kind of see the pitches improving. Hopefully you'll be able to look back on previous inspections and previous reports that have been produced and see for yourself how far you've come in this journey. And it's a recording tool for yourselves to kind of make note of, okay, last year we carried out these maintenance activities, this year we did that, and so on and so forth. So I think that's enough talking about it. We'll go into a little demo of it now, if everyone's happy to do that. Aidan, I'm not sure if any questions have come through on the chat, but we can pick them up now if there are any.
No questions have come through as yet. Does anyone have any that they've kind of been sitting on? If not, then yeah, I guess we'll proceed.
Yep, let's do that. Okay, so hopefully everyone can see this now. This is on my laptop, so it is going to look slightly different on your mobile device, but once you've logged in and created your account, you will then be prompted to join an organization. So as an example, there's the GMA, and we can go to Kent County. So if your organization, there's an extensive list here. Your organization will 99 times out of 100 be there. If it's not, you can prompt and add a new organization there. If you have previously used PitchPower, you won't need to go through this step again. It will be under my organizations, and here we are. I can select mine, which is the Grounds Management Association. This is my organizations tab. I've got one organization listed here. I've got one ground listed, which is our head office. And just as an example for this evening, we've decided to set a pitch up on this lovely area here. So we've called it, well, it's the address Wolverton Mill, football pitch 1, and this relates to the football inspection, and it's in progress. You will be prompted to add your ground and then begin an inspection. You can click on join ground here, search for your ground name, and then it links the ground to the organization. So if we go into this, we can open ground, football pitch inspection in progress, because I previously just tested this, and we can see we've got 2 pitches mapped out here. What we can then do is open and continue inspection. So this is your inspection page, and the first title is general ground. So here you can manage the pitches. So you'll get prompted to do this if you're setting up a ground for the first time, where you can edit the pitch or add the pitch. So for instance, we've called this pitch 1. This will be the same as when you log into it. It'll be, you can call it whatever pitch you want, your main pitch, your first pitch, your junior 11 pitch, your 9v9 pitch, whatever name. And then it will come up with a series of questions here to answer before mapping it on the site. So is this pitch marked with other pitches? No, it's not. It's not a floodlit pitch. Is it shared with any other sports? No. And it's an adult football pitch, and it's not used within the National League system steps. So we know. And then you can adjust the location. You can move the pitch around, and you use this button here to pivot it for whichever direction of play. And we can save and go back to my pitches. Similarly with pitch 2, we can change that if we wanted to, but I'm happy that's there. If you've previously done an inspection and you've added more pitches, you can of course add more pitches before proceeding with the inspection. But it's worth checking before each time just to see that you've got everything added correctly. It looks complicated. It's not too bad at all once you've got it set up, and it helps you understand where you are when you're on your site performing the inspection.
Daniel, just with the pitches there, if you accidentally put too many pitches on or the wrong pitch on, so you put a 5v5 on instead of a 9v9, for example, is there a way of removing pitches and then re-adding the correct one or anything like that?
So what you would do in the case of selecting the wrong button, so let's go to manage pitches. I can change this, because say last year we can edit this pitch. So we'll change this now to pitch J. So we changed this to a junior pitch from an 11v11 for argument's sake. No, it's not overmarked. Is this pitch floodlit? No, it's not. Is this pitch used for any other sports? No. And we've changed it from a 9v9, so we can adjust the location, and we'll say, actually, we switched it this way to give the pitch some rest because we were playing long ways before. So what it's done here is reduce the size, so you can change, if there's a pitch that you've kind of taken out of commission, you can change it. If you need a pitch removing, you'll need to contact myself or Aidan, who will then manually get that done for you from the PitchPower help desk. There's not currently the facility to delete pitches, but it is incoming with the app. So at some point you will be able to. So for, you know, say previously we had the 211s. Now we've switched this to a 9v9, and we can do the inspection on this pitch. Essentially, it's changed. So we'll go back to sport, continue inspection, and I'll just run you through now what you'll expect to see once you've got your pitch, the ground in the pitches map, sorry, and you begin your first inspection. So it's going to ask you your maintenance budget. So for argument's sake, we'll put that at the moment. We'll say we spend £2,000 on the renovation, and our budget breakdown is 50-50 between the pitches. We'll go to the next, and it'll ask you about the maintenance of the pitches. So who looks after the maintenance currently? So we'll say we have got club staff or volunteers looking after the general maintenance. The end of season renovation work is done by a contractor, and we have got 2 volunteers that help with the maintenance of the pitches. What is the reason for this inspection? So this gives your regional pitch advisor, i.e. me, an indication of why have you interacted with PitchPower? Is it an existing Football Foundation grant? Are you just looking for general pitch maintenance advice? I imagine a lot of people on this call this evening will have interest in getting a grant to improve these pitches, to improve their pitches. So if that's the case, you can select that one, and it might change next time, because hopefully you'll have an existing Football Foundation grant, because following on from your first inspection, you've applied for funding and you're receiving it. So we'll just say that for now. So that's that section complete. General ground maintenance. So this is maintenance for the whole site. So select the maintenance activities that you carry out at this ground. For argument's sake, we'll say at the moment we do mowing fortnightly, and we'll say we cut at 40 millimeters, or we cut using a tractor mounted unit. It's just, you don't have to go to town on the description, but something is better than nothing to help me understand what's being used. And we'll just say at the moment we are marking the lines as well, and we also do that fortnightly, and we mark the lines when needed. Okay, next. Select the equipment that you use. So this is the section for you to record your own equipment. I've seen inspections coming in, and every time somebody does it, they use this as a tool to update the hours that their tractors had, or they'll say, you know, they've got a, let's have a think, a mowing equipment. Yeah, mowing equipment, and they'll put the name, the condition, the year, and brief description. And what they do is list every time this has been serviced or had it reground. So it's a tracker to understand what you, or not to understand, sorry, to record what you've, how often you've had machinery serviced, you know, where it was serviced if you wish. Use it as you wish, you know, you don't have to do that, but it's been built as a tool for you to record that information if it makes life easier for you, and certainly makes life easier for your regional pitch advisor to understand what the quality of the equipment is, because we can make recommendations within the report that can open up opportunities for you to apply for machinery. So product name, let's say, for example, this now, we can do this unknown. Condition, very old, it's done it for me. We'll say it was 1980s, and we can say very old, needs soon. And then we'll say we use it with the tractor. We'll use a red one, the condition, it's new, and this one we got 2 years ago. Okay, so there's the machinery section completed, and it will come up with ticks, and then we go back to the inspection and return to inspection home. General ground questions information has now been completed. It's got a tick, it's got a tick, it's got a tick. Now we move on to the pitch inspections. So we'll start, and I'll give you a demo of now what it'll ask you to do, and kind of how you can get more information when you're running through your inspection process. So it seems daunting at first. Once you get to grips with it and the information is in there, it's pretty self-explanatory. You know, this section's got a tick to say we've completed it. This section's got a tick. You just keep clicking continue and next, and it'll prompt you to get through to the next section. So junior pitch, let's go to the one that we just changed, the 9v9. So pitch maintenance, and it'll ask you select the additional maintenance activities you carry out on this pitch. So we've said we mow the ground fortnightly, and we said we line the marks. Well, actually, we don't do anything else to this pitch. It's just treated the same as everything else. This section really is if you did have a first team pitch, if you did have a main pitch that gets a little bit more attention perhaps than the others, this is where you can list that information. Because if the inspection comes through to me and pitches are all of similar quality, but you've got one, your main pitch, and it stands out that it's a much better, achieving a much better grade than the others, it's understanding why. And you know, sometimes that's through limited usage, which you'd also record, or enhanced maintenance, or you could say you carry out goal mouth repairs during the renovation, you put some fertilizer on it. Again, the more information that you can provide, the better picture that it's going to paint. So you know, the report is going to be tailored to your site to improve the pitches that you've got. So we don't do anything extra to this pitch. We'll click on next. So that's it. The pitch maintenance section there is complete. Now we move on to the general information before moving on to the goal map, the actual pitch inspection. So these sections are ones that you can do from the comfort of your home before going out and getting onto the pitch and selecting the areas. Actually, there are a couple of photos that it'll prompt you for. So these questions relate to your pitch as a whole. So I'll move through this. So this is an important one. Drainage following rainfall. How well does your pitch drain naturally? As I said, so at this make-believe ground next to the GMA's offices, we just cut and mark, and we're finding that the pitch is draining slowly. So the pitch is playable, but soft underfoot and affects the quality of play for about 24 hours after heavy rainfall. The other option is you've got standing water on the pitch and it's still unplayable after 24 hours of heavy rainfall, or free draining, sorry, no standing water. So, you know, you've got three options here to select. So just do what you think is related to the pitch that you're inspecting. So we're going to say it's slow draining. Does your pitch have drainage installed? So this might be historic drainage, or you might have been fortunate to have, you know, pipe drainage installed, you know, in the last 10, 15 years. If you're not sure, then select no. If you are aware of a drainage system, then select yes, and it'll ask you which type it is. Don't get too bogged down in the technicalities if you don't know. For this example, I'm going to say no, the pitch has no drainage, and this next question and the next one isn't relevant. If you're unsure, then either contact myself or Aidan and we can have a look into it for you. But don't get too het up on the type of drainage if you're not sure. It'll ask the drainage age as well, but as it says, leave this blank if your pitch doesn't have drainage. So that's the drainage section on the general information for the pitch. So match play. So how many hours a week are played on this pitch? And this is for affiliated match play. So we're going to say, for example, we'll put 3 and we use it for an hour's training. Is there recreational use? This is relevant to pitches that you've got in open public space, or if you've got a school using the pitches. So it's a yes or no, really. There are going to be, you know, anomalies to this question where you've got a summer camping or, you know, I don't know what, but you know, it's generally meant for, is there recreational use of the pitch, i.e. is it an open part space? So we can take that into consideration when we're making recommendations. So for this, we're going to say yes, it is, because it's in open space. How many games did you have cancelled? Well, last year we had 4 games cancelled. As I said, we're just cutting and marking, and these games were cancelled due to waterlogging. Select damage areas. So you can select on this any you know, problems that you're having with your pitches. You know, this can include holes, pests, surface damage, disease, and it's now you've got the opportunity to upload an image of these, but for the interest of this demonstration, I'm not going to upload anything now. But it's just an example of how PitchPower 2 has been developed from the first one. So this is where you'll need to be on the pitch and start uploading photos. So I've got some images saved here of my pretend pitch, and it'll ask you to upload the line marking photo. So with this, because I'm using a laptop, I've got a folder with images that I've taken of the pitch. There is a PDF document that you can take out to the pitch so you can understand what images you need to take, should you want to do it that way, or should you have poor phone signal at the ground and you don't think it will load up live. What you can do is record where those images were taken and upload them at a later date. The best way to do it, though, is to be on the pitch with your phone, running through the inspection, and it will prompt you what to take there and then. Because otherwise, and I've been in this situation as well, you visit a site that's got poor phone signal, you take the images, you get back home, you try to upload, and you've got a camera roll full of pictures of grass and soil and you just think, where did I take this? So if you are going to do it that way, please record which pitch you've taken your samples from, where on the pitch they were, so that you can upload it at a later date. So in the interest of providing a demonstration for you on the call now, we're going to upload the line marking photo, and we're going to rate that above standard because these line markings are clear and straight, as you can see here. There's another example here where these are good. Don't be if they're not good, then they're not good. It doesn't make, you know, there's no disguising it really. It's fine if they're not good. It's something that I can put in the recommendations to look at improving them. And yeah, we'll go from there. So that's the line marking. These ones are above standard, not all are. Aidan, the pitch that we went to yesterday, they were below standard because they were doing it 2 weekly, and we just had a spurt of growth because of the warmer, wet weather that we'd had, so they're growing out. Assessing your goalpost, there's information here. So we're going to say they're compliant goals. They're not made of wood. They're not homemade, and they haven't been repaired. And then it'll ask for a wide-angle image of the pitch. So in this case, we're going to use this one titled wide-angled image, and this gives a broad, indication of what the pitch looks like, rather than just the kind of stand in the goal mouth and take a photo. So how easy even is your surface playing area? We'll say it's standard. It's generally flat. Have you had any major work done on this in the last 5 years? We've had none actually, but you can select the options here: pitch leveling, isolated drainage, full renovation, pitch reconstruction. But as I said, we've just been cutting and marking, and now we want to move forward with some improvements. No, it's not used for step system football, and it gives you an opportunity to kind of, if there's anything else you want to add or feel like we should know about this pitch, then you can fill this box out, and it will then prompt you to go through to the next section. Conscious of time, so we'll try and rattle through the next section very quickly. So we can see we've completed the general for the junior pitch. We've completed the drainage section, the usage and maintenance, the damaged areas, the additional information, and we can continue to goalmouth 1. So it will say go to the goalmouth, the first goalmouth, to carry out the inspection. To carry out the inspection, you'll need a camera phone, you'll need a tape measure, and you will need a soil sampler or spade to take out the soil sample. So we'll just run through one of these inspection locations now and get back into the presentation and answer any questions that you've got before we talk about the funding that might be available following it. So take a photo of the grass height. Why do we ask this? Because grass height is really, really important. If you're, apologies for that, I'm trying to make it bigger. If you're cutting your pitch too short, you're not going to provide the stability of the surface. You're not going to provide that protection for the surface, and grass doesn't like being cut at 20-25 mil. We would say the longer you can leave it, the better, but we say at this time of year, really you want to be cutting around 35, between 30 and 40 mil. So we'll say, for argument's sake, 35 is the height that we're cutting at now. And again, this is important because we'll understand why you might have low coverage if you're cutting at 20 millimeters, and make recommendations within the report to raise the height, and all the guidance will be provided within the report that we produce for your site. So grass coverage, if you wanted to click on these as well, as I say, it prompts you to open up YouTube and teaches you or lets, you know, gives guidance on how to take a photo for the grass cover. But generally it's from waist height, no shoes in the photo. So we're looking for something like this. Okay. And then what you can do is count the squares that contain grass, or you can use, they've built in a pen, so you can colour in the squares that contain grass. Here we've got a spread of weeds as well. So essentially, if you have to make the judgment yourselves, because some squares will contain weeds and grass. It's what contains, you know, what's dominant in that square. Don't worry too much about this and getting it bob on to the correct percentage, because everything that comes through is assessed by myself for consistency across the board. So just looking at this now, you know, you've got quite a lot of grass there. There are bare patches, there are quite a lot of weeds as well, but as an estimation, I'd say you've got upwards of 72% grass cover if we're looking at the squares. Okay, and then what it will do here is it requires the same photo to be added, and then you'll select the squares that have got weeds. It might be, for argument's sake, easier to do it this way with this one, because you can highlight the weeds that you've got in there, and again only pick out the ones that have got more weed than grass in, and it will total it up at the bottom. So we can say we've got 33%, which adds more than you need to make sure it doesn't go over 100, but with this one I just kind of guessed it, so we'll say it's around 68%. Surface debris. How does surface debris impact the quality of match play on your pitch? So this means if you've got grass clippings all over the place, if you're in an open space and you've got dogs running over the pitch doing their business. So we'll say on this, it has a slight impact. You know, sometimes we cut and it's wet and we leave clippings on the top, which isn't ideal. So next, and then it will move on to the soil sample. There's two sections for each. It's the grass height, the grass cover, and the soil profile. Again here, and I would urge you to watch this video, is if it's the first time you've done it, how to take a soil sample, and there's some guidance there. But in the interest of time now, I'll let you explore that in your own time, and we can go straight to uploading a demo photo. And this is quite a good one, actually. So here we've had somebody take the soil sample out, they've put it on a clear background, and they've measured using a tape measure next to it, so we can see when it's uploaded. I can't quite see because it's quite small, but if we zoom in, we can see we've got about 160 mil of topsoil. The root depths are about 90. You're looking for the real bulk or the white roots. And thatch, it's got a bit of a thatch layer, so we'll say 10. Again, the guidance video that you can follow will, and here, will tell you how to find topsoil. I do this for each. So topsoil depth, we'll say it's around 180. See, it's about 160, isn't it, according to that? Root depth is around 90, and there's about a 10 mil layer of thatch. It's really important that this, not that you get the figures right, but it's that you understand how these parameters have an effect on your pitch. It's the same with anything. Underneath the ground can tell you more about what's going on the surface than the surface can a lot of the time. So yeah, do have a look at these videos that are linked, and and understand what we were asking you to measure. If you do have any questions, then please don't hesitate to pick up the phone and give me a call, or get in touch with Aidan, who will guide you. So that's pitch, junior pitch 1. That's one location complete. It asks you to do 3 of the same locations on each pitch. Once you get the swing of things, it doesn't take too long, especially once you've done it a few times. But do take the time to watch the videos and familiarize yourself with what's being asked. With that, now I'm going to stop sharing and go back into the presentation, because yeah, if we go back to return to inspection, we've completed that, the general ground information. We've completed part of our pitch journey, 3 out of 5 complete. All we'd need to do then is complete this, and then it'll prompt you to continue and submit. Okay, we've just made a start on this pitch now in the last 20 minutes of the call. So I'll stop sharing and we'll go back to the presentation and move on from there. Okay, so the information that you submit and the parameters of grass height, root depth, goalpost being compliant, line marking, your drainage, will give your pitch a score of poor, basic, good, or advanced. And based on that, we then provide the guidance using the information that you've provided to us on your budgets, on the resource that's available, on your volunteers, of recommendations of how we can move your pitch up from poor, from basic, into good, or into advanced. As well as that, the GMA have developed a national pitch grading framework, which is the grounds management framework. And for each level of pitch, we have developed courses to improve the knowledge and skill sets of those carrying out the maintenance works on the pitch, to understand the reasons behind the operations that will improve your pitch. It's kind of like I maybe didn't put that so well, but I think I think the infographic there sets it out. And in terms of, it's your skills and knowledge that will improve pitch quality, and it's the tasks that you're carrying out on your pitch that will improve pitch quality. And yet the Football Foundation have bought into this, and this is their mission, and we work very closely with them to provide resource in the way of the PitchPower reports, the funding that's available to allow you to achieve moving up that pyramid. The GMA, we provide online training courses, face-to-face workshops rolled out in partnerships with your county FAs, which Aidan will touch on in a little while. The courses range from around 35 for the level 1 to 150, depending on GMA membership and the level of the course. Some courses are mandatory if you carry out, if you apply for funding. So we'll touch on it in the next slide. The Grass Pitch Maintenance Fund, recipients of that fund are expected to be to have done the level 1 online GMA training. So this is, I mean, I'll provide Aidan with the links to send out with this presentation and the recording to yourselves, so you can log in and have a look at the courses yourselves. There's no, you know, we've built these to aid you, essentially. You know, there's no commitment to do them. There is a commitment of the Football Foundation that you do the online level 1 course if you're a recipient of that funding. But yeah, these are designed to help you, and all the information in there is really good, and you can go from level 1 to level 2 and all the way up the level the chain if you want. I think I won't spend too much time on what is the pitch advisory service. I think I explained it earlier on in terms of it evolved from the Grounds and Natural Turf Improvement Programme to serve grassroots sports and working in partnership with the national government bodies of sport. But in football, we're closely linked to the Football Foundation and the FA. So the kind of the best till last, I guess, and perhaps why you're here. When I first joined the programme, funding was only available to support clubs purchasing. It was small grants up to £25,000 essentially to purchase your own machinery. So if you wanted a tractor, or you needed a tractor replacing, or you wanted to purchase new cutting equipment, that it was available. This is a more recent fund, and it really has transformed football since really for the clubs that have bought into it, committed to using PitchPower, receive the reports and get the grant funding. So I'll just give you a very quick rundown on it. So the grass pitch improvement strategy is a 10-year enhanced maintenance plan to improve your pitches. The Grass Pitch Maintenance Fund is a 6-year grant providing up to £3,200, including VAT, for every one of your 11-a-side pitches in the first 2 years. Okay. The Football Foundation have taken the cost of living crisis into account and they've upped this. Initially, when it was released, it was £2,500, so they've added about 30% onto the grant, because we spoke to contractors and we fed back that fuel's gone up. You know, I don't need to tell you, you just need to look at the newspaper. Everything's going up. So they've taken this into account. Those that are already receiving it will also receive this enhanced funding. So say you applied for the Grass Pitch Maintenance Fund last year and you received £2.5 for an 11v11 pitch. This year, because it's year 2, you get £3,200 for that pitch if it's at the basic standard. For every it's scaled down over 6 years, and there you can see the funding that you could receive for a 9v9 pitch and for mini soccer pitches, so 7s and 5s. The grant can be used to employ contractors, purchase materials and purchase a soil sampler. Funding available per pitch will depend on the performance quality standard received. Produce your own maintenance schedule based on the recommendations in your PitchPower assessment report to improve your pitch and sustain or enhance the pitch to the GMA's good PQS standards. So our target is to get your pitches up to a good standard, and good is measurable now. Because we've created the pitch grading framework and the performance quality standards table, we can measure what good is. We've removed the subjectivity around what is a good pitch. Okay, and based on the research that we've done, our knowledge within the team and everything else, the performance quality standards of a good pitch can sustain the level of play and achieve the quality that the FA want and the Football Foundation want to see. So grants are to improve grassroots community pitches. This funding isn't available for clubs within the STEP system. The STEP system has a separate fund, and this slide's slightly out of date. That fund is called the Premier League Stadia Fund now, as well as the grass pitch maintenance funding that's available, the tapered grant for 6 years, covering 10 years. The Football Foundation, small grants are available to improve, to purchase pitch maintenance equipment or machinery. Okay, so this is something that we won't deep dive into now. This is more kind of like the terms around the grants. We'll just really quickly go into this. So the funding is available to support enhanced maintenance works to improve your pitch. So you can't use the funding for maintenance works that you're already carrying out. Okay, this is for additional works recommended within the report to raise the standard of your pitch. It can't be used for grass cutting or line marking. If you are a recipient of the fund, there is a requirement to submit a minimum of 2 PitchPower assessments annually, just so we can provide ongoing guidance and advice around the quality of your pitch and see how it's improving in relation to how you're spending the money. Okay. Aidan said it in his email that he sent out. Now is a really good time to submit a PitchPower application, and I know we're overrunning slightly now, but I think it's important to get the information out there, and hopefully it's not eaten into your evenings too much. But Aidan will go into the support that's available through Kent FA to carry out these inspections if required. But I would encourage you to own the app yourself, have a look, and if you really can't get to grips with it, yeah, by all means, Aidan will touch on the support that's available. I mentioned it before. If the grant is awarded, 2 members of the organisation or club will need to enrol and complete the GMA's online level 1 winter pitch course. The club is responsible for organising and supervising any works that are carried out by a contractor. We can help you with information on choosing a suitable contractor. Kent County FA has affiliation with a number of contractors. I think it's just one contractor, but Aidan can provide the information around that as well. And site visits may be carried out to monitor the performance progress of the pitches. So this is the important bit, just to stress. The funding rate for years 1 and 2 is 100%. So the figures that we turned on before, you'll get 100% of the money, the £3,200 from 11v11 up front. It's up to you how you spend it. Okay, we can help you with it. You've got the recommendations within the PitchPower report because you've submitted all the data. You've clicked the button that says apply for funding. You've been successful in your application for funding. You'll get the money up front into your account. It's then up to you how you spend it. By all means, you're not alone in the dark then. We can support you through that process. We can look at quotes that you've received for works, but it's not a case of going out, getting 3 quotes, choosing the correct quote, submitting. It's there and it's money for you to spend. Years 3 and 4, that funding will drop to 66% of what was 100%. Years 5 and 6, it goes to 33. And thereafter, the pitch is required to be sustained at the GMA's good PQS standard or above for the 10 years of the programme. That might be a scary prospect because you think in years 8 or 9, you're going to be having to put that much more money into the pitch. But hopefully along that journey, the pitch has kind of taken that leap up to where it needs to be using the funding. And actually, you are able to, working with us, find a way of sustaining that pitch at good without putting all of that money into it that you did initially. You are expected to carry out the higher level of contribution and the enhanced maintenance work somewhat, but we all expect, this is why the fund is tapered, that initial kick to raise it to the good standard will be required in the first 5 years, and thereafter the maintenance techniques, we will find with you a level sustained balance to maintain that pitch at good. Okay. Touched on it before. I'll just really quickly fly through these now, but get on the Hive if you haven't. We'll send the links out. Kent County, Kent CFA has got their own group. There's also a big wide community on there with, I think we're up to about 3,000 members on there now. Go on there, people are posting photos of their pitches. People are saying, hey, I got this piece of equipment. We're finding it really good. People are saying, what's this on the pitch? I've noticed it's been a bit wet in the morning and we're getting this red patch. Does anybody know what this is? How can we combat that? there's a huge resource on there. Learning tips and cards, loads of information around materials, equipment, general maintenance practices. Feel free to post on there. Feel free to post on the Kent's own one, but use it to your advantage. It's a brilliant resource that's been developed and has a lot of information on there. The GMA has got an essential guide to football grounds maintenance as well. Have a look on there, check it out. There is other sports on there as well. It's got both codes of rugby, it's got cricket on there, and we are looking to expand that as well. So again, this is just resources that have been developed to aid you in what you do and support you, because we know you do a great job out there, and we want to help you kind of continue that and take it to the next level. And we know that's through skills and information and funding that's available as well. Okay, end of presentation. Sorry, it dragged on a little bit longer than we expected. We'll fire through any questions that you might have now. Aidan's got a few more slides he is going to present, not many, just a kind of roundup, but this was a real whistle-stop tour, and I hope you found it beneficial hearing about PitchPower and having a demo as well. If you have got any questions, feel free to put them into the chat box or unmute yourself and we can go from there, and Aidan will just wrap up the evening from there.
Sorry, Daniel, Jeff, how are you, mate?
I'm good. You dried out?
Everybody, apologies for being late joining the meeting. I had a bit of an emergency at home, but just to say, I'm the football development manager, lead the football development team. It's great you all on the call. There was a question from Howard who said that when he marks pitches, he has worm casts that make it difficult to mark pitches. So any advice?
So if you've got worm casts when you're marking pitches out, it suggests that you don't have a lot of grass where you're marking that line. Okay, so could be two reasons for that. Either that you're marking too frequently, or historically or by yourself, you're putting something in the mix to suppress grass growth. Adding anything to the line marking to prolong the line isn't best practice, and actually it's detrimental to the pitch in the long run, because you're just going to get these craters, and so sooner or later somebody's going to turn their ankle on it, and it holds water and you just can't get grass to grow within it. So there's a number of things that you can do if you're experiencing worm casts on lines, but the fundamental of it is we need grass there and not soil. Okay, so what you can do is you can brush the line before you mark it out to get rid of the worm cast. You're better off doing that on a dry day, which I know isn't ideal to, you don't come by many of them when you're marking the lines out. And what I'd encourage you to do is over time slightly dress the lines up. So add a little bit of top dressing and seed. You're not going to get it all to take, but it's something that you're going to have to work on over time. Maybe if you've inherited a pitch that's got historic burnt in lines, and it's a real struggle to get the lines back, it's going to be a little and often approach. It's going to be a really challenging thing to kind of replace grass there, as in turf it. That I wouldn't consider that as a viable option. But yeah, brushing the worm casts off, adding a little bit of top dressing, and adding some seed to the lines to try and get grass to grow back.
Lovely, thank Howard. Did that sort of give you a clue?
Yeah, there's worm casts all over the pitch, in all honesty.
Yeah.
It's not just on the lines. As you mark it, the wheels get clogged up with mud and worm casts.
Yeah.
We use a transfer marker.
Okay.
Don't trust the managers to clean out a spray marker, unfortunately.
Yeah.
It's not worth the investment. We've had a few before, and we've used it for a little while, and they've caked up, so we've not gone back to transfer wheels. But yeah, I know you can't really treat worms, but is there anything else we can do? Is there
so
grass?
Fortunately, for worms in football, Worms prefer clay soil, so you get them a lot on cricket squares, and you get them in tennis as well, where a clay-based soil. You don't get them so much on sand-based soils. So if you've got a constructed sand pitch, which by the sounds of you haven't, because it's not many people have, let's be honest, what you can do is very lightly, this top dressing that I speak of, you could mix a 50-50 mix of sand soil, and the worms don't like sand because it's a rough material, you know, a coarse material. So you can add into that top dressing, if you're trying to promote grass and get more grass in the lines, I would be inclined to add a bit of sand into that dressing, say a 50-50 mix. Don't go mad and kind of cake it on, but just over time, and it is a painstaking process, but isn't everything that we do, and that's kind of where the reward comes from. But yeah, add in a bit of sand. The worms aren't going to like that, so you're going to get fewer casts on the lines. And in the high wear areas, a pedestrian fertilizer spreader is quite good for distributing sand. So where you get the areas, you know, such as the goal mouths that they start going, you can use a pedestrian fertilizer to run some sand through. But I wouldn't recommend going out and just getting any old sand. Get sport specific silica sand. You know, that's been graded. It isn't cheap, but you're gonna be better off getting something sport specific in the long run.
Brilliant. Thank you very much. Cheers.
No worries. Okay.
Marvellous. Is there any other questions that anyone had before we just go through the last bit? No. Okay. So I'll just go into now just a bit around the support that we can provide in terms of the Kent FA. So we've got some funding to spend on support pitch advisors. So they'll be able to come out to your site, particularly if you've got 4 or more pitches, and help you with those initial pitch power assessments. So as we mentioned before, the PitchPower app and the way it's been developed is so that you can undertake these assessments yourself. So in terms of the support pitch advisors, they'll only come out for your first PitchPower assessment, and there'll need to be someone from the club who's going to be undertaking the assessments moving forward that's present at the same time, so that they understand what to do and are able to do it in the future. In terms of the bits that Daniel mentioned that you can do on the computer before you actually get out onto the pitch, such as making sure that you can access your organisation on PitchPower, you've added your site on, you've added your pitches on, and then obviously the information regarding your list of equipment, your annual budget, that kind of thing. If you need support with that, I'm more than happy to jump on a call with you, do a screen share, and we can kind of walk through it together just to make sure that you've got it all set up correctly. And if we do get a support pitch advisor out to you, then I will make sure that you've done all of those bits before the support pitch advisor turns up, because we don't want to obviously waste their time if they can't complete it all on the day. There's a link there if you want to jot it down, or but I'll be sending it out anyway if you do want to request a support pitch advisor. The assessments take around 30 minutes per pitch, so just factor that in. The link does ask you for your kind of preference in terms of when you'd like an SPA to come down. So just have a think. If you've got 6, 7, 8 pitches, then it would need to be probably a morning start just to make sure there's enough time to get through them all. And just regarding the rest of the grass pitch improvement series, so obviously this was part 1 of 4, so we've got another one in the middle of next month, which is another online one, and it'll be looking at preparing for the winter season, and obviously the torrential weather that no doubt we're going to end up getting. The third one will be around preparing for the close season, so although it's in February, it's preparing you for what you're going to need to do when the season does come to a close, and and make sure that you've got everything in place to start those reparation works in preparation for the new season. And then in April, we've got another face-to-face one, which will be around how we can make your pitch work harder for you. So it'll include some innovative things such as robotic line marking and festival preparation and just kind of general summer works that you might be doing as well. So in terms of next steps, so I guess there's two key ones, which is get your pitches assessed now. So as was mentioned previously, the perfect time to do it is now. So before the end of October. If you do need a support pitch advisor, please do submit a request or any other support that you need in order to get your assessments done. Let me know what you need. And then when you have done that, or if you've already had your pitches assessed, make sure you do draw down the funding. There's a few clubs that I've spoken to since I've got into post who have had their assessments done and not drawn down the funding. So it's free money that's sat there for you to take and get and use and put into the pitches. So make sure you use it. Make sure you get it. It's there for you. And yeah, key point, I guess, is make sure you use your PitchPower ID when you draw down that funding. So there'll be a 4-digit code which will come through with your PitchPower report. And you'll need that 4-digit code when you're applying for the funding. That's my email address. I think you've all got it because I've sent you the information from earlier anyway. But yeah, please keep in touch. And if you've got any questions following this evening or at any other point throughout the year, get in touch and yeah, I'll do my best to support as best we can. Are there any questions? I think Darren's just typing in the chat there, so I don't know if there's one about to come, but I was just saying very insightful. Brilliant. Thanks, Darren. Yeah, unless there's any other questions.
I just, Aidan, if it's all right, I just really wanted to thank Daniel for his time, not just for tonight, but for yesterday when he led us through the pouring rain in doing the two assessments we did yesterday. And I, from somebody who's getting on in age, it really was simple to use the technology. If you've got the right tools, then it's relatively quite easy. And as Aidan said, we really do want you to apply because we do want to put as many grants through as possible and get as much investment into the county. So thanks very much, Daniel. Aidan's come into the role and it's been an absolute revelation in it. So I know he will want to help you guys. So please make sure that you work with either if you've got your own club site, then that's great. If you use a school site or you use a local authority site, make sure that you're joint applicant, you put an application in, and we really try and get those pitches renovated and up to the appropriate standard that you deserve and your players deserve. So hope to see you all soon. Aidan, I'll leave it for you to wrap up.
Yeah, smashing. Thanks so much for that, Jeff. Yeah, Daniel, any last comments from you at all? Or
no, just to echo, thanks to all for joining. I mean, it's credit to yourselves for jumping on the call and wanting to be part of this and putting the journey in place. And as I think Jeff has just demonstrated, we're set up now in Kent to provide you with support. So if you do find a barrier, contact us, because we're about breaking down barriers and kind of getting the support that you need. Previously, there wasn't enough of us. That was the barrier. There wasn't enough regional pitch advisors to go around assessing every site. They've brought technology into it. We don't want technology to be a barrier, and the support systems in place there to assist you with that. Okay, so yeah, thanks a lot for your attention tonight and joining. Reach out to Aidan, myself, or Jeff if you need anything. And yeah, thanks for having me on the call.
Smashing. Thanks so much for that, Daniel. And yeah, thanks everyone. And yeah, keep in touch. And yeah, hopefully I'll be around to see you all at your pitches soon. Smashing. Thanks so much, all.